Hey you guys, welcome back to another episode. I am Sandra. Today we will be talking about the United States Supreme Court ruling that made people go nuts online. And I mean literally nuts. But before we actually talk about this ruling, we have to understand what exactly is affirmative action. If you're not from the United States of America and you're not obsessed with American politics like I am, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. And that's okay, because I got you, all right? Let's go back a few years and understand how affirmative action came to be, why, and I guess what good was it intended to do, okay? By the early 1960s, the civil rights movement had brought to national attention racial obstacles in education, public transport, and the use of public accommodations such as restaurants and theaters. In 1963, President J.F. Kennedy advocated for a comprehensive civil rights law, and so that led to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which was a groundbreaking legislation that tackled discrimination in American society at the time. It prohibited discrimination and segregation based on race, religion, natural origin, sex, employment, and all public places, including schools, hotels, restaurants, churches, and hospitals, you name it. The Voting Rights Act followed in 1965. The difference between this act and the one that we just talked about, the Civil Rights Act, is that while the Civil Rights Act of 1964 required equal treatment of all voters, the 1964 Act outright prohibited the use of literacy tests, provided for federal oversight of voters' registration in areas where less than 50% of the non-white population had registered to vote, and authorized the United States Attorney General to investigate the use of poll taxes in states and local elections. Now that we've discussed that part, let's come to the part of affirmative action. What is it? Okay, it is a policy that aims to increase employment and education opportunities for people who are underrepresented in numerous areas of society. It focuses on demographics that have historically had low representation in positions of leadership, professionalism, and academia. It is frequently viewed as a technique of combating discrimination against specific populations. Okay, now that I've gotten you guys up to speed, let us talk about the fact that it's been ruled against, right, and deemed unconstitutional is actually a good thing. Okay, the whole premise of affirmative action is that if you are a black person, for example, you have a better chance at getting into college just because you're black. And I guess if you think about it, which the sad reality behind this act is that it's a way, I guess it was a way for white Americans, or I guess the administration at the time to kind of atone, the sins of white America. I don't know. Instead of you to reiterate the right that everyone has under the Constitution, you thought it was wise to create a separate law. I don't know if any other person has thought about this from this perspective, but again, this is just my opinion, okay? Now, let's continue. People say that, well, you know what? There are actually benefits to, affirmative action. And I cannot say that's wrong, because a lot of people have had the opportunities to go to school, right, to get higher education because of affirmative action. But the downside of that is, if you're just only going to admit someone into your university just because you're black, what message is that sending? This brings me to the tweet. This lady, Erica Marsh, she tweeted this. Today's Supreme Court decision is a direct attack on black people. Boo-boo, speak for yourself. That's the first thing I'm going to say. Pay attention, you guys. She says, no black person will be able to succeed in a merit-based system. Let's just finish the tweet and then we talk about it, okay? Which is exactly why affirmative action-based programs were needed. Today's decision is a travesty. Boo. What you're literally saying is that black people are dumb, they're not smart enough to get into college based on merit. And who's the racist now? Do you understand? This is how Americans think today. Some Americans think today. You think that black people are so stupid that they cannot get into college if there is no extra help. This is the white, I guess they call it the white savior complex. I don't know. I've heard it somewhere before. But anyways, it is just really demeaning if you think that without affirmative action, black people cannot get into colleges. That's the America you guys are building. That's the America you're supporting. And it's so sad. And I absolutely lived for the comments, right? John Rich said, hang on a minute. No black person would be able to succeed in a merit-based system. Do you know what you sound like? Yeah, you know, a racist. That's exactly what you sound like. You know what? You should probably ask yourself what exactly was going through her mind when she was tweeting that. Now, I want you to listen to what a very, very wise man said. Malcolm X knew this, and here's what he had to say. Take a listen.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox, and a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to, but the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling, and you take him for a friend.
There you go. It's so point on, and that was like years, decades ago. It's almost like he was able to he understood what we today still have difficulties understanding. It's so true. And this is the one that really makes me even, like, if it's even possible to be more upset about this whole situation, the Obamas. Gosh, it is unbelievable the amount of gut, right, it takes to voice out certain things. Listen to this, okay? Listen to what the Obamas had to say. And I put them together because they're exactly in the same boat. I do not care for them whatsoever. I think that if you can think for yourself, you should be able to see why ruling against the affirmative action is actually a good thing. Because that way, black people can get into universities based on merit, and they can say, you know what, I got into university not because I'm black, but because I had what it took. I had the requirements. I was smart enough. That's what we should be pursuing, and we should be encouraging in people, right? It just seems so simple to me, right? Okay, now, listen to what the Obamas had to say, and God bless the heart of this man, Tim Scott. We need people like you, right? We need people like this. We need people like Vody Bauckham. We need people like Larry Elder. We need people, and yes, all these people are black. Just so you know that not every black person thinks that every black American is what's it called? Is a victim, okay? You are responsible, right, for your actions. You are absolutely 100% responsible for how much you put into something. You're not in control of the outcome, like Larry Elder would say, but you're 100% in control of what you put into it, right? If you want to be successful, you have got to do the work. It's not something you tell a black person alone. It's something you tell anybody. Now, listen to what Michelle Obama said. She said, my heart breaks for young people who are wondering what their future holds after the decision. I'm sorry, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? And of course, Tim Scott says, this is a lie from the pit of hell. Absolutely correct. Because you are trying to convince millions of Americans that without this quote unquote help, they have no chance of getting into college. Who's the racist now? So this is my message to every American, home and abroad. If you believe that every American has the same right to succeed, given the same opportunities, remember there's a huge difference between equal opportunity, okay, and equal outcome. The other one, equal outcome, is literally impossible. You cannot have equal outcome even if you're given the same opportunities. No. Because you know why? Equal outcome isn't dependent on the opportunity. It's dependent on you as a human being. What do you bring into, the space? If you're given an opportunity, how do you use it? So please, stop waiting for the government to save you, because it ain't gonna happen. Only Jesus can save you. All right? Understand this. Affirmative action was never good back then. It's not of no use right now, because you should reiterate the fact that people are the same. What message are you sending? Anyways, you guys, that's all I have to say. Let me know what you think in the comment section as usual. I will see you guys in the next episode.